Good morning, everybody, and welcome to round number 12 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour here from sunny and beautiful South Australia. Of course, we're at the Shell V-Power Motorsports Park at Tailem Bend for our second and final racing action of the weekend. My name is Paul Jeffrey. I'm up here in the commentary box, calling all of the action from today. And down on the grid, as always, we've got our very own Alex Le Gui. Fabulous to have Alex down there, ready to bring us all of the news and excitement ahead of this second and final race of the day. So perfectly on time, why don't we head down and see where our very own Alex Le Gui can find.
Hello everybody, welcome to a very hot, beautiful Adelaide. We're here in South Australia at one of the best circuits in the world. We love it. It's called The Bend, and it's certainly proving to be a very challenging, fun, fast circuit for our drivers. So, it's the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Talk about a good way to start the second half of the season. Yesterday we had qualifying. This gentleman here, Michael Ascona, popped it on pole. It was an amazing lap. The race occurred and he's had a penalty, a 5-second penalty. So at the beginning of a race, there's like the starting lights, you'll see them up there behind me now. They can take between 2 and 5 seconds. That's the deal, if you like. Yesterday it was the full 5 seconds. So if you imagine these drivers are balancing pedals, it's a bit like riding a really, really powerful, strong, terrifying kangaroo. And if they don't get it right, they can either stall or jump start, and that's what occurred yesterday. So Michael Ascona got a 5-second penalty. He did an amazing job, though, during the race, and managed to build the gap to like 24 thousandths of a second ahead of Normi Michelitz, but it wasn't enough. Didn't make the 5 seconds. So that gentleman there, Normi Michelitz, won the race. This gentleman here, Jan Erlache, don't know where he's gone, hiding. He is the points leader, so he comes into this weekend 25 points ahead of Esteban Guerrieri. He is now 35 points ahead because he did a nice job yesterday, P3. He was on the podium. Ted Bjork here, give us a wave, Ted, or ignore me. He is in championship contention. In fact, we'll come and say hello to you. You are still in catch. He's like a smooth, silent killer, this man. 2017 world champion. What can you do here in race 2? Race 2 is always fun because it's a flipped reverse grid. And you're in quite a good position.
I can go for the win, but let's see how far I can get. Everybody's fighting hard because it's a little bit shorter because of a little bit shortened. We should have 3 races, but we have 2 races. So everybody's just throwing at everything. And like you said, second race usually is more fun, right?
Yeah, right. Okay, so thank you, Ted. Have a good one. We'll keep an eye on him. Top 10 of our qualifying is reversed. So qualifying 1 to 10, right? You have your fastest man, that was Michael Ascona. He's on pole for race 1. Race 2, the top 10 are reversed. So technically the slower are at the front, the faster at the back, which makes it always quite fun creeping through. Nacho Montenegro, it looked like he wasn't going to get to the grid, actually. He had a sensor issue, but they've managed to fix that. I was looking for, so fun fact, the speed sockets, the wheel guns, we've got a team who's using an Adelaide-based creation. But I don't know where Luke is. We'll try and find him in a minute, because I'd quite like to give him a nod. I want to have a chat to you, Gabriele Rizzo, who's looking after Hyundai, who are on fire this weekend.
It was, at all. Yeah, really happy. We were commenting yesterday that I think that this delay, in the container that led to the change of the format can be a great idea for the promoter. Because having just one free practice, it changes, in my opinion, in our opinion, the level of role of the driver's performance and the team to be in the right window with the setup in a very short time with very short track time. So I think that was the key to understand the quality of yesterday.
So, Bebu Nestor Girolami, we call him Bebu. He is currently sitting in P2. We know that the Hyundais are fast around here, but Aurélien Comte has quite a reputation. He's great off the line. We know the Cupra's fast, but what can you guys do you think?
Well, it's a long race. We have seen yesterday that the performance are very close. They battled already yesterday, and it was not easy to keep Comte behind. So it will be a very tough race for Nestor, and he will try to do his best as he always done.
It's warmer today, isn't it, as well, than yesterday? Will that make that much difference? I guess it's not that much warmer, but track temperature's 28 degrees. I don't know what ambient is.
It is. We have experienced yesterday with the free practice at less than 10 degrees of track, and then after having 10 or 15 degrees more on track temp in quali, just 2 hours change a lot the wind of the setup. So yes, the answer is yes, it will change a lot.
When I spoke to Mikkel, well, and Norby, but speaking to Mikkel yesterday, he came up, he was like buzzing, certainly after his quali lap. What is it, do you think, that's so special about the bend for our boys?
Well, it's a track with a medium speed corner. There is a bit of everything, and honestly, like it's happened last year, for example, in Mid-Ohio, it's type of track that fit our car, our team, let me say, approaching this type of track, and our drivers.
Amazing. Right, we look forward to seeing what you can do off the line. Let's see if we can catch Aurélien. He doesn't like speaking to me much because he doesn't speak that much English. He speaks a lot more than I do French, but there he is. You'll see his face as I come towards him. He'll be like, oh no, Alex, no, 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 no. Hello. Ready? Been practicing your starts?
Yes, it's the good position for the start. So, but all drivers want my positions.
Yeah, of course they do. And Bebu, we know the Hyundai are quick, but are they as quick off the line?
Yes, I don't know. The track is clean, so I don't know. We will see in the first corner.
See, I told you, he doesn't like speaking to me. Have a good race. So every round, as TCR travels the world, we get local wildcard drivers, and as hopefully you know, we have a plethora of awesome Aussie talent on the grid. Where is Josh Buckers? He must be around here somewhere. I can't remember how far, but he managed to get up to like P5 yesterday. We've got some awesome talent. Speaking to Cody yesterday as well, he was just knocked out of qualifying, but to even be close to getting into the top 10 of qualifying amongst, we've got like 5 world champions on this grid, multiple world champions as well, so it's no mean feat at all. There he is. Let's have another quick word. Hey, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Ready? Are you going to, right, where are we? What are we? Where are we? 7? What can you do?
We've had overnight what we call in Australia a massive swing at things, so hopefully it pays off. We've got nothing to lose, so life will be good.
A massive swing at things. Tell me what that means in the layman terms.
It means back in the garage, all the spanners are out of round, all the tools have been used to try and make this thing a little bit quicker than what it was yesterday.
Amazing. I had my first party pie yesterday.
Okay, I haven't had one for years, so yeah, otherwise I won't fit in the seat.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you. Have a good race. Party pie? I honestly thought he was saying potty pie. I didn't understand at all, but party pie is a thing. For the Europeans who are listening, in one of the garages, it's super cool. I mean, the Aussies are like, yeah, party pie. It even has its own emoji. It's like an oven, you pull it out, and inside are these cool little pies, and there's a hole in the middle, and you put your tomato ketchup in. It's really nice. I got very excited. All right, 20 seconds to conclude. Jan, quick, one word.
Yep.
Ready?
Yeah. What's the question?
Not literally one word. A few more than one.
Well, actually, we're gonna try to maximize the points we can score today. You know, with the 40 kilo ballast plus BOP, it doesn't help much to progress in the races. We did a good weekend so far, so we need to capitalize on that.
Good. Have a good one. He's the one to watch. Go, go.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much, Alex Le Gui, down there on the grid this morning ahead of round 12 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. I think it's fair to say yesterday's race isn't going to go down as a classic, but Alex mentioned already the reverse grid top 10 for race number 2 always, in touring car terms, provides a much more exciting motorsport event. With Aurélien Comte at the head of the field, the French driver for SP competition will be hoping for a rather sedate race indeed. I don't think the other 17 TCR World Tour drivers perhaps have that on their schedule. Started off no less by Nestor Girolami, front row of the grid for the Argentinian driver Girolami. Big opportunity to add to his victory already achieved this season and do some good work to vault him up the championship standing. Girolami currently, as things stand, sits 8th in the title chase. Not quite where the Argentinian driver, I think, would have liked to have been at the start of this campaign. As you can see on screen, air temperature slightly warmer, 22 degrees, 35 degrees centigrade track temperature. And here in South Australia this early morning, 38% humidity. The day will get warmer, the action for sure will get a whole lot hotter on track as well in a few moments' time. There is SP Competitions, Aurélien Comte, sole car this weekend, teammate for the 2025 season, John Philippi, not here again this weekend. He missed Villarreal last time out. We don't have him here at the Bend. Hopefully John will be back soon, but Aurélien not really finding a one-car operation too much of a disadvantage as things stand. He put the car 10th position in qualification. He finished race number 1, a further spot back in 11th place, but will be starting from the very head of the pack. And trust me, when you've got a car that doesn't quite have the pace that you were looking for, there's nothing like a pole position to dig deep and find a little bit more pace. Definitely going to be a driver to keep our eyes on. Perhaps doesn't have the pace of those immediately around him this weekend. But one thing we know for sure is Aurélien Comte isn't afraid to get the elbows out and get a bit rough and ready on the racetrack. Just like that man, Nestor Bebu Girolami is most definitely not afraid to get stuck in and go motor racing. Bit of a mainstay on the world stage in touring car terms. Girolami for the BRC Hyundai and Squadra Corsa team. 3 cars they run this weekend, of course. Took a victory yesterday for Norbert Michelis after the 5-second time penalty was applied to Mikkel Afkona to jump in the start. Afkona just missing out on that race victory. But from 10th on the grid, that's going to be absolutely fascinating to keep our eye on the Spanish driver. There is Esteban Gurrieri, another one of our championship hopefuls, shall we say, coming into this weekend. Well, wasn't quite the race one that the Argentinian was looking for. 8th position was all he could manage at the end of the day, and that drops him back to a hearty 45 points behind Jan Erlichey, who is our current Kumho FIA TCR World Tour drivers leader. Marcinkoir had a very difficult qualifying, almost didn't make it through to the all-important top 10 in Q2. Got a position good enough for 7th in qualification. Followed that up with a 6th place finish in race number 1. Bar's going to be starting this one from 4th on the grid. Good opportunity for the Chinese driver as the leader of the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing contingent to go out there and score big points for himself. Goat Racing had a difficult start to this race, as Alex mentioned on the grid. A bit of a sensor issue for Nacho Montenegro. The team was able to get onto the job nice and early, though. Seemed to have resolved whatever problems that was befalling that car. They'll be starting off from their allocated 5th position for this 13-lap race. And here is the starting grid for round number 12. Aurélien Comte and Bebu Girolami at the front row. Esteban Gurrieri and Marcinkoir line up in 3rd and 4th positions respectively. From 5th place is the aforementioned Nacho Montenegro. He's got Ted Bjork for company, and then it's the lead of our Australian cohort, Josh Buchan, in 7th, just ahead of Jan Erlichey, with Norbert Michelis starting 9th, and the pace man this weekend, Mikkel Afkona, in 10th. Santiago Urrutia and Ryan McMillan are 11th and 12th positions respectively. Then Cody Bircher in 13th, just ahead of Brad Harris. Lose Ho will start from 15th. Zach Suter in the Audi in 16th position. Jordan Cox, fresh off the back of finishing 2nd in the Trans Am race just prior to this one, is 17th. Ian McDougall alongside him in 18th and last position. And a big shout out to Jordan Cox, has to be said. The Trans Am's fantastic cars, racing just before this event. Jordan, again for Gary Rogers Motorsports, crossed the line a mere 0.7 of a second away from victory. Well, from 17th on the grid in TCR terms, that's going to be very difficult to repeat indeed, but nevertheless, mightily impressive from a 31-year-old Australian driver. Teammate, of course, to Ben Barguana, who we saw in the World Tour in TCR Europe last season, also racing in Trans Am. If you're watching this one, Ben, big hello from us all, very much missed on the grid here in Australia. Right then, here are the championship points heading into this one. 280 is for Jan Ellershae, 45 points ahead of Esteban Gurrieri. Ted Bjork in third in the standings is a further 6 in arrears. Do we expect the championship challenge to look anything like that one at the conclusion of this race? No. Is the perfect answer for that one. Quite simply, whatever the championship positions are coming into this one, forget about them. Things are going to change. This is the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, everybody. These are touring cars. Doesn't matter what classification they are. Touring cars are always dramatic. And the TCR car even more so. Aurélien Comte will be hoping for no dramas whatsoever and a clear view through the front windshield of the SP competition. Cupra Leon VZ. I don't think it's going to stay that clear for very long for the French driver. He's going to have a mighty task on his hands to keep the baying pack behind. Headed by, of course, Bebo Girolami in second. Esteban Gurrieri, who would quite dearly love to take his third victory of the season, will start in third. Keep your eye on the GOAT Racing Honda driver. He's got a lot of work to do, and boy oh boy does he need to do it. 45 points. Not insurmountable, not by a long chalk, with the second half of the season still to go. But we always know, the closer you can be on the points, the easier and less risks you have to take on the racetrack. So Gurrieri will no doubt be enthusiastic about the possibility of scoring a whole bunch more at the conclusion of this one. We have onboard cameras this weekend, of course. We're riding on board the 105 of your reigning double champion, Norbert Michaelis. We've already seen the camera from Aurélien Comte for Lincoln Co-Cyan Racing. It's the 111 of Ted Bjork. And then it is Esteban Gurrieri for the GOAT Racing Honda squad that carry our 4 onboard cameras this weekend. Hopefully they pick up some great racing. It was a quiet race, I think it's fair to say. Yesterday afternoon, well, I don't expect a repeat of that one in any way, shape or form for this round 12 of 20, the 2025 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. And one of the main reasons I don't expect it to be quiet is for that man on your screen right there, Mikel Afkona. 0.7 of a second was the advantage in qualification when he scored that pole position. And apart from one small mistake off the line, looked untouchable in the race as well. I expect Afkona to be cutting through this field like a hot knife through butter. Keep your eye on the 10th place car as he charges his way through the pack. Never shy, coming forwards is Mikel. Definitely one of our more aggressive drivers in the field as well. He should be good value for money. Ian McDougall then lines up at the very pack of the field. The man with a flag is ready to wave. The lights will all go on and then the lights will all go off. When they do, we will go motor racing here at the Ben Motorsports Park for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Round number 12 is underway, and at the head of the pack, Aurélien Comte, a little bit slow from the line. Good second phase of the start though. That opens the door to Esteban Gurrieri. Drag race between Gurrieri and Bebo Girolami. The 129 of Girolami has the inside line. Gurrieri though can't find a way past. Around the outside goes Girolami. Very cautious into the first corner for Aurélien Comte. Thinking almost caught the Argentinian driver out. Around the outside then goes Bebo. It is an early race lead for the BRC Hyundai driver. A little bit further back, Gurrieri having a squabble of his own. Jordan Cox working his way through the pack in the GRM Peugeot as well. We're riding on board now with the Argentine driver in third position. There's Nacho Montenegro at the back of your shot, diving to the inside of Josh Buchan. Buchan under a little bit of pressure. There we go. Ted Bjork trying to find his way past as well. Montenegro made the move in fine style. He moves up in a fourth position. Buchan down a fifth. Bjork to the outside line, can't find enough real estate, does well to gather the Lincoln Co. Cyan racing machine back together again, stays in 6th position, does the Swedish driver, but he is on the attack. At the front of the field though, Bebu Girolami did the hard work he needed to do into T1, has that early race lead. Aurelian Kopp down into 2nd place, and then it's a pair of GOAT Racing Hondas. Guerrieri ahead of Montenegro, side by side we go with Marching War, having a look to the inside of Ted Bjork. Can't quite get it done. Jordan Cox is on the outside of a 3-way squabble as well. A little bit further down the pack. We'll come back to that one as Norbert Miklis almost has his nose taken off by Jan Elishay in front. Miklis though survives that particular bit of squabbling. Mikel Afkona still in 10th position. Santiago Urrutia keeping a watching brief as well. He's a little bit detached from his Lincoln Co teammates. He's got McMillan, I think it is, trying to find a way past. Yes, there is the HMO Customer Racing Hyundai. Having a look to the inside, no room though for the young Australian on this occasion as through we go. The first lap is in the books and it is advantage Bebu Girolami. Exciting stuff then over the opening few corners here at Tailem Bend. Aurelian Comte caught napping into T1. He'll be frustrated about that one. Marching Qua having a look to the inside of Elishay. Elishay keeps the position for now. In fact, he passes Mar. That is Jan making his way past Marching while riding on board with Norbert Miklis. He dearly love to get into the ribs of the 155 ahead, try and get past the Chinese driver and get in contention with his big championship rival Jan Elishay. Just in front of us in 7th position, that is Mar in 8. Norby doesn't have the inside line available to him. Has to have another little think. He's got clean rear gunner Mikel Afkona behind. There's no team orders at BRC though. They are free to squabble. The only rule in motor racing, do not hit your teammate. As long as they can avoid that one, Mikel Afkona and Norbert Miklis are very much free to have it out on the racetrack. May the best man win. So far he's currently advantage to Miklis, but 9th and 10th is not what the Italian squad would be looking for, even less so with Bebu Girolami at the head of the pack. Coming under pressure from Guerrieri. Esteban having a little look to the inside, doesn't have the overlap on the Cooper as things stand. Again Guerrieri trying to climb over the back of Aurelian Comte. Comte though keeping the racing line, keeping things nice and calm, just concentrating on that minimum apex speed. Don't provide any Honda-size holes in which Esteban Guerrieri can insert himself, and so far it is a mighty defensive drive from Aurelian Comte. Much slower, of course, than Bebu Girolami, courtesy of having to do the defensive driving. This is an opportunity though. This is an opportunity. Esteban Guerrieri forcing the issue to the inside through the final corner. Both drivers keep it on the racetrack. Guerrieri performs a millimetre precise overtake. That is absolutely how you do it here at the Bend. And Guerrieri, for his benefit, is now up in a 2nd position. In fact, that's Nacho Montenegro and Josh Buchan all swarming around Aurelian Comte. Contact between Montenegro and Buchan. Buchan gathers the car together, the Australian driver. Good bit of car control there. Montenegro now buying back into this one. Aurelian Comte skirtles his way back up in front of the Australian driver. So Aurelian on the defensive. That's Ted Bjork. He takes advantage as well. Bjork a few car lengths further back. Takes advantage of the kerfuffle in front of him. Buchan now on the defensive. We spoke to Alex on the grid. There's been a little bit of work undertaken on that Hyundai Elantra overnight. Feeling confident of the Australian team coming into this one. Unfortunately, don't have an opportunity to show that pace just yet. As Buchan under big pressure there is Mikel Afkona chasing down teammate Norbert Miklis in the 105. Afkona lightning fast here at Tailem Bend. Incredible in qualified. Had the pace in race 1 as well if it wasn't for that jump start penalty. And I think Afkona will be becoming increasingly frustrated, shall we say, down there in 10th position. He knows he's got the pace, doesn't have the real estate and the space to try and extract that to its full potential. A little bit further up though, Nacho Montenegro keeping a very tight watching brief on Esteban Guerrieri, 2nd and 3rd position respectively, Montenegro being the one on the bottom step of the podium. Nacho, young Argentinian driver, will be a little bit reluctant, I think, to challenge Esteban Guerrieri. He knows his teammate is in the championship challenge. Montenegro very much not in that one down there in 7th position in the standings. So this is a great opportunity for GOAT Racing to work together, try and secure the position for Esteban take points away from the rivals behind. One of Switchwear rivals is this man, Ted Bjork, in the 111. Right then, let's take another look at the start. Initially, it was a fairly sedate start away from the line for Aurelien Comte. Second phase seemed to work in the favour of the French driver. Heavily defensive down into T1, but keep your eye on Nestor Girolami. He started in a second place squabble. I think it caught him out himself. Very reluctant on the brakes for Aurelien. A lot of caution there and sailing around the outside. Fernando Alonso-esque. Outside becomes inside. The bravery becomes position and race lead gain. This is how Esteban Gurrieri got the job done for second position. Forcing the issue to the inside line for the final corner. Not a traditional pass in place here at the bend, but great stuff from Gurrieri. And sadly for Aurelien Comte, he kind of got swallowed up by the pack from that one. There's a little bit of contact between Buchan and Montenegro, maybe working in his favour to retake some of those lost positions. And look at Ted Bjork. Ever the hunter, ever the cool and calm head on wide shoulders, just waits for the inevitable and then finds himself a nice free bit of real estate in which to insert himself. Good stuff there from Ted Bjork, using all of his experience and talent and skill to very, very good effect indeed. It worked nicely for Ted. He's up into sixth position. That's where he started. It's been a bit of a yo-yo race for Ted Bjork. So far, so good. Sixth position, and crucially for him, the lead of the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing Group as well. So another strong performance from the man that comes into this race. Third place in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour standings, and most definitely in the conversation along with his teammate Jan Ellershey, although he almost drops the car perfectly on cue. Gathers it all together again, but the pressure from his teammates now is starting to hit boiling point behind. There is the 2BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa machine, still advantage Norbert Nicholas in ninth ahead of Mikel Azcona. How long will that stay as such? We will find out as we look back now from Ted Bjork. That is Ellershey. Same car, of course, same team, broadly similar setup, we'd imagine, as well for each driver. So no advantage asked, no given amongst that little trio. But it does seem like Jan Ellershey, despite carrying 40 kilos of success ballast versus the 10 for Ted Bjork, it's like Ellershey is the quicker of the two at this moment in time, just like Mikel Azcona is arguably the quicker of the two BRC drivers. As Murray Walker once said, passing catching is one thing, passing an entirely different proposition altogether. Corey Birchie, by the way, off screen, has been in some kind of strife. He's been down pit lane, drops to the bottom of our running drivers in 18th position. So a shame for our reigning Super 3 champion, Super 2 driver in 2025, Corey Birchie. Getting his first taste of TCR racing, first taste of the ASM Lincoln Co. 0-3, been mightily impressive yesterday. A shame that some kind of strife has befallen that car, and he misses out on the opportunity to race with the international drivers here at Tailem Bend. Right then, lap time check, because that's the only interesting thing we can say about Bebo Girolami at the head of the pack, isn't it? Last time around, a 1 minute 57.6, a whole second, everybody, quicker than Esteban Gurrieri. 5.4 seconds now is the lead of Bebo Girolami. What a drive this has been for the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa driver. 5.5 seconds in just 4 laps. Despite Gurrieri being under pressure behind, it's still a deeply impressive performance from Bebo as he chases his second victory of 2025. And I don't want to say it so early in the race, only 5 of 13 laps in the books, but it's looking rather nice indeed for the Argentinian driver. Riding with Ted Bjork, not quite as comfortable it seems. There's a Pesci, Jan Ellershey. You can tell which car is Jan's. It's the one with the bright pink wing mirrors. And I think our Drivers' Championship leader is starting to get, I don't know what's the word to use, enthusiastic, shall we say? Yes, enthusiastic will do, about passing his teammate, and there we go. Choreographed almost amongst the pair of them. Ellershey telegraphing that one nice and early. Ted Bjork in no mood to defend that position. That allows Ellershey up in 6th. Next driver up the road, Josh Buchan, 0.8 of a second between them. Let's see if the Frenchman can close that one down. Well, we take a look at the fight between Esteban Gurrieri and Nacho Montenegro. Montenegro not showing any signs of wanting to challenge his championship challenging teammate ahead. And if anything, after a bit of a dicey opening few laps, Aurelien Comte now has dug deep and found a little bit of competitive pace in the Coupe de Leon VZ. still in 4th position, but slowly applying the pressure on the 1, 2, 3 in front. Nacho Montenegro. He needs to be millimetre precise, does Nacho, if he wants to try and keep the French driver behind. Just 20 years old, Nacho Montenegro, 2024 TCR Spain champion, 2023 TCR South America, and FIA gold medal winner as well. Very talented driver, multiple championships, multiple race wins, and proving that he every bit belongs on the world stage in 2025, even if the results haven't quite gone his way just yet. Take an opportunity then to ride on board this beautiful 3.076 mile Tailem Bend circuit with Aurelien Comte. Just catching this race. This is the first engagement with the World Tour this weekend. Of course, we had a lot of bad weather around this part of the world. That delayed the shipment of containers here to South Australia. So normally a week's worth of setup was done overnight. Just a single practice session, straight into qualification, straight into race 1 yesterday. And then a slightly shortened schedule. Just 2 races this weekend, this being the second and final of them to try and fit it into the schedule. It's Norbert Michaelis and Mikkel Afkona go side by side. And a little bit of team play, methinks there as well. Mikkel takes that position away. Norby vulnerable to the chasing Santiago Arruti. Santiago has a look to the outside line. That's suboptimal, as Ron Dennis would say. And Norbert Michaelis walks the Link & Co all the way to the edge of the circuit, as is his right. And Arruti has to think a little bit deeper, a little bit harder, and a little bit further outside of the box if he wants to find a way past our Hungarian reigning champion. Michaelis, though, down into 10th position. Let's have a look. Now his release teammate Afkona. If Afkona's got enough pace to chase down and close the gap to himself and Marchingwa ahead. Aurelien Comte's definitely got the pace, hasn't he, at this moment in time? Struggled in the first few laps. Now that car's hit its groove and is doing a very, very good job to hang on to the coattails of Nacho Montenegro. Montenegro, for his own race, is playing the protective, defensive wingman to teammate Esteban Gurrieri ahead. So Aurelien Comte, dare say, would love to get on the bottom step of the podium. It's going to be a very, very big ask. Very small team, SP competition, in comparison to some of the other outfits that we have out here. And of course, Aurelien flying solo this weekend with no John Philippe in a second car. Makes this performance even more impressive, doesn't it, from the French driver? Speaking of impressive, big shout out to Josh Bucket as well. He's had a very nice start indeed, holds on to that 5th position in the HMO Customer Racing Hyundai Elantra and TCR. He's doing a great job. Teammate Ryan McMillan, the young Ryan McMillan, 17 years of age, Australian full or open champion in 2024. He's in the second car and also doing a very stout job up there in 12th position and showing the rest of the TCR Australia drivers just what a young 17-year-old can do behind the wheel of one of these things. Fabulous stuff. Speaking of fabulous stuff, I think Norby was right to release Mikkel Afkona. Just look at that one. It's taken 1 lap to close down about a 2-second gap looking at the eye, and now Afkona, like a cheap suit, is hanging on the back of Marchingwa. A little bit further down, Lo Seho, and the Hyundai Elantra and Hyundai i30N looks to the inside of Ian McDougall. McDougall has absolutely no response to that one whatsoever. Has to let the 281 go. And Lo Seho, the Hong Konger, racing in the 3rd HMO car this weekend. Great to have a driver of such calibre, such pedigree, of course, having I think it's back in 2023, was it? Won the TCR Asia Challenge at Macau. So he's no stranger to success, Lo Seho. A little bit older car in the i30N. Great to see it racing on a world stage, it has to be said. It's a little bit older now, it's been superseded by the Elantra. Still competitive, still good for 15th position for Lo Seho. As looking on the timing screen, Brad Harris has been in some kind of strife as well. So that's a real shame for Brad. He's been in pit lane and has dropped down the running order as the 32-year-old Australian driver in exclusive switchboards on the Civic, with help from Yas, of course, and Goat Racing to get it running and up and running this weekend. So, Gori Bocha and Brad Harris have both been in strife. 16 cars are running competitively as things stand, and is headed by Nestor Girolami at the head of the pack, 4 seconds to the good from Esteban Gurrieri, who's got Nacho Montenegro playing rear gunner behind in 3rd, holding off the increasingly enthused challengers, shall we say, of Aurelian Comp just ahead of Josh Buchan and Jan Ellershay being the top 6 drivers. Ted Bjork staying in the wheel tracks of his French teammate in 7th position. Then there's a gap to this man, Marcin Roy, and just behind is the mover and shaker of the race, Mikel Afkona. Lightning quick in practice and qualification and race 1. Hasn't been able to convert it into the results he was hoping for, but he would dearly love an opportunity to sidle that car on the inside of Marcin Roy and take away that 8th position. Mar looks vulnerable, doesn't he? Mar looks very vulnerable. The body language of the Hyundai Elantra is of a driver that is going to find a way past come hell or high water. Here we go, lick the stamp and send it, says Mikel Afkona. Outside line does not pay off on this occasion for the Spanish driver, but that is a signal of intent. I am not willing to sit and wait behind you, says Mikel Afkona behind his helmet. He's going to see an opportunity and take it, or perhaps even carve an opportunity for himself, which often we see in touring car racing. It's not easy to pass around the bend, but Mikel Afkona, if anyone can, 29-year-old Spanish driver can, as he follows in the wheel tracks of Mara a little bit further now through the final corner. This is the long run down the start-finish straight. Oh no, I tell a lie actually, we're the wrong part of the racetrack. It's very similar there. This is more the final sector coming in to that last corner in which I mentioned. Mikel Afkona's used that one to devastating effect already over the course of this weekend. Can he do it again? Marcin Roy definitely is not shy in the defensive posture. He knows how to make a TCR car as wide as humanly possible. There's more. It's going to be mighty difficult to find a way past, but Afkona really does need to, because this little battle pack that we're looking at here ain't getting no closer while he's stuck behind the back of the 155. Deeply frustrating weekend for Mikel. Anybody who's done any kind of racing will know that if you've got the pace, and you know you've got the pace, and quite frankly, Mikel, it's ridiculous how much pace he's got, but it's just not come together for the Spaniard. Starting in 10th, so it's going to be a big ask. I think 9th position would be a frustration for him. Then we go to the inside for Mar. Around the outside goes Mikel Afkona. A little bit of contact between the two of them. The outside becomes the inside. Bounce off the curb as well for good measure. Great bit of driving from Mar there to force the issue. Stay on the outside line. Retake that position. Afkona then is going to have to think again. He's going to have to try a little bit harder. Tries to line up the move. Follows in the wheel tracks of the Lincoln Co. Cyan racing machine. Sends it nice and early to the outside line, putting Mar off. Mar runs slightly deep, locks the inside rear wheel. Very touring car-esque there. And the Chinese driver doing everything he needs to do to hold off the Spaniard behind. But with 3 laps left to go, it's going to be a mighty difficult task indeed. That's the contact then that we've just seen. Mikel Afkona gets a little bit of airtime. He's been in the air long enough to be served wine, as Mikel Afkona on that occasion bounces into the side of Marcin Roy. Both cars survive though. It is still advantage Mar for now, but the air of inevitability is starting to descend upon this battle. Mikel Afkona teammate Norbert Michelis, and then there we go. That's a bit of an outlier. There's a little bit of a spanner in the works. 11th place is Santiago Urrutia. He would dearly love for an opportunity to present itself amongst this warring pack. Keep your eye on Urrutia. A little bit under profile for Santiago so far. 11th position, not what he would have been looking for coming into this weekend. As we cycle back up the running order, you see a few of the squabbles further up the pack. All eyes though absolutely glued to this one. It's been a fascinating fight. Mar has a few more car lengths now, 0.6 of a second to be precise, over Afkona through that last squabble. So maybe for 1, possibly 2 corners, Marcin Roy will be able to breathe a little bit easier until the onslaught from behind continues, just like Josh Buchan is currently experiencing. Just imagine this one. Double TCR Australia champion Josh Buchan, thoroughly nice guy, very fast race car driver, racing for HMO Customer Racing, big team over in Australia. And he's got a former world champion in Jan Ellershay behind him, a driver who's leading the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour standings. Big moment for Josh, and he's looking every part the accomplished racer, isn't he? Looks like he's a World Tour regular, like he's been on the international stage all of his career. In car number 30, this has been a mighty shop window opportunity for Josh Buchan. He's making himself look rather attractive indeed. Fabulous performance from team and driver, soaking up the pressure like a sponge. Lap 11 of 13, there's a lot more racing still to do. But for Josh Buchan, the pressure is getting harder, heavier and more pronounced each and every one of these 18 corners. He navigates his way around LSA. Make no mistakes about this one. Jan's looking for the championship, he's looking for the points, but he, if an opportunity presents itself, will not ask questions and throw that car down the inside of Josh Buchan. Josh has got to give everything he has got and a little bit more to hold on to this one. The big problem is this man, Ted Bjork, that we're riding on board with. If Erleshay can find a way to get in contention with Buchan, then there's an opportunity for Ted to slide up there as well, and suddenly 5th position becomes 7th and feels a whole lot less palatable the checkered flag. But so far, no signs whatsoever that Buchan is going to show any cracks, any chinks in his defensive armour at all, as we now go on to lap number 12 of 13. Got in a heartbeat, hasn't it? These races aren't long enough. They need to be 5 hours long. Absolutely love me some touring car action. And the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour never failing to deliver here. Round number 12 at the Shell V-Power Motorsports Park at Tailem Bend. It is it is Nestor Girolami dominating proceedings by 2 seconds at the head of the pack from Esteban Gurrieri and Nacho Montenegro. Brilliant comp in 4th. And then that man Josh Buchan under a world of pressure a little bit further back. Here is your race leader, just in case we forgot about that man, Bebu Girolami. Comfortable as you like at the head of the pack, Gurrieri. I think he'll be satisfied with his day's work. Should he see this one through to 2nd position, that'll be some good points for his own championship charge, especially considering he's ahead of Erleshay down there in 6th place. Be a good day's work for the GOAT Racing Honda squad if things stay as they are. If being a very big word in motorsport terms, of course, and has a whole lot of meaning hidden underneath this. But look now at Josh Buchan, still under pressure. If anything, Ted Bjork actually is looking a little bit more sprightly of this particular battle pack. Ted, let's remember, comes into this one 3rd in the championship points. Erleshay leading the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour standings. So Ted Bjork still very much in contention for the Drivers' Championship. He was the 4th man at Lincoln Co Cyan Racing towards the end of 2024, and I think it's fair to say, quite frankly, has been the 4th man at the start of 2025 as well. Just keeps getting better, does Ted Bjork. Each and every season just comes back a little bit faster, a little bit more polished, a little bit more complete. And he's doing a great job so far up there in 7th position, tailing his teammate, not really applying pressure to Jan, just giving Erleshay that bit of breathing space on this final lap to try and desperately launch an attack on Josh Buchan. 1 more lap to go. Just 3 miles for Josh Buchan. He's going to hold on to that 5th position. A little bit further back, could this be a change around that we see in the BRC Hyundai squad? Yes, it is. Mikkel Afkona repaying the favour to teammate Norbert Mikkelis, gives that position back. Norby returns into 9th place. Afkona, though, is vulnerable to Santiago Arrutia. This is a carbon copy of what we saw when positions changed a few laps ago. But Afkona seems to have the number of his Uruguayan driver and rival behind. And Arrutia, try as he might, can't quite find a way past. This is a replay then, riding on board with Norby. Good bit of driving there for Mikkel, pulls off to the right hand side, gives Norby the racing line and the line into T1. The Hungarian driver greedily and gratefully retakes that 9th position. There'll be some more points bled at the top of the driver's standings, but it could have been worse for Norby. You've got to be in it. You've got to be in contention all the way to Macau. Championships aren't won mid-season. They won over the course of the full year. Races, though, are won mid-season, and that's exactly what Bebu Girolami is looking to do. This has been understated and unexciting from Bebu. From a spectator's point of view, but from the driver's point of view, an inch-perfect performance. He's been lightning quick, got the fastest lap of the race as well, and it all was that pass around the outside into T1 on a rallying comp. That's what set up an absolutely dominant performance for Nestor Girolami. He's on course to take his 2nd race victory of 2025. Here's Bebu Girolami. And no more a deserving victor has there been. Dominant performance. Fabulous stuff. Valencia was the last time But at Tailem Island at the bend, Bebu Girolami crosses the line, takes the checkered flag, and with it, race victory here in Australia. Celebrations on the GOAT Racing pit lane as well for their man, Esteban Gurrieri, crossing the line in second position. Nacho Montenegro, his second podium in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, crosses the line in third as well. Great job from the Spanish squad in second and third. Sensational job from the Argentinian driver, driving for the Italian team with a Korean car to take the checkered flag and the victory. Second one of 2025 for Bebu Girolami. Absolutely dominant here at Tailem Bend. Great stuff then at the head of the pack. Can confirm that Josh Buchan did hold on to that fifth position from Jan Erlichet as well. So that's a big shout out for Josh. He takes home the first place in the Australia Cup. Here is the provisional race results once again. We saw Bebu Girolami dominate that one, 1.4 seconds, a managed gap, I think it's fair to say, at the checkered flag from Esteban Gurrieri and Nacho Montenegro. Strong drive from pole position to fourth at the race for Aurelian Comps in the SP Competition Cupra as well. Josh Buchan, as mentioned, wins the Australia Cup contingent. The nearest rival to him was teammate Ryan McMillan in 12th position, just ahead of Zach Suter, Jordan Cox, Lo Ho, and Ian McDougall. But the big one, the big one, the one that everybody's looking at is car number 129. It is Bebu Nestor Girolami. It's been an under-the-radar performance from the 36-year-old Argentinian driver. His 9th win in TCR, his 2nd win of the season to match the one in Valencia a few months ago in Spain. And Bebu, lovely young man, very calm gentleman in the paddock, but when he wins, it means the absolute world to him. And I think we're going to see a very happy driver indeed, just picking up the dust, picking up the rubbish on the tyres, raise the ride height, raise the overall weight of the car as well. All helps when it comes to scrutineering, when it's checked over by the WSC technical team to make sure everything complies, and it's above board. I'm sure it will be. You just do these little things. But the big thing Bebu Girolami is going to be thinking about doing is getting out that car and celebrating, because it has been a very strong performance indeed. All Argentinian podium as well, of course, with Esteban Gurrieri and Nacho Montenegro, 2nd and 3rd position respectively. Not very often you can say that one, I think, at the top of international motorsports. All Argentinian podium, absolutely incredible stuff. Bebu Girolami, Esteban Gurrieri, two drivers that have been around a fair few times in the world of touring cars, massive household names, established superstars in the Tim Top world. And then Nacho Montenegro, as I said a little bit earlier on, Nacho still a very young man at 20 years of age. But my goodness me, is he going to be the superstar of the now, not just the future? Very bright prospects for the nation of Argentina in the world of touring car racing. These three superstars out on track and absolutely dominating proceedings, taking all the plaudits for the podium places. So here we go then, confirmation of your provisional race 2 result. It is Bebu Girolami from Esteban Gurrieri and Nacho Montenegro. Aurelian Comp finishes 4th ahead of a very impressive Josh Buchan, Jan Erlichet, Ted Bjork and Ma Qinghua, rounding out the top 8 finishers in this motor race. Fastest lap as well for Bebu Girolami, a 1:57.610, gives him that particular honour at the head of the pack as well. 9th position goes the way of Norbert Michaelis, just ahead of Mikel Azcona. A bit of a swapsy at the end of the race. Santiago Urrutia beats home Ryan McMillan in 11th and 12th. Zach Suter and Jordan Cox are 13th and 14th positions respectively. Lo Ho finishes in 15th. Ian McDougall had a few dramas. He's classified in 16th position. Makes the checkered flag once again in the Audi. And then 17th place goes the way of Brad Harris with Cody Bircher, classified, well, not classified as such, but 18th and last. Shame for Brad, but a big shout out to Will, who can't make it here this weekend. He's at home expecting the birth of his child. So sorry you couldn't be on track, Will, but a big shout out from us all on the World Tour And good luck with that one. Sleepless nights coming your way, my friend. Very, very soon indeed. Might be sleepless nights for this man, Bebo Girolamo, but for an entirely different reason. Because he's going to be celebrating quite wildly with his team later on this evening, I'm sure. A very, very commanding victory. Yes, there we go. You can see it in the eyes, can't you? Girolamo smile. His brother Franco also racing as well, of course, in America next season in a TCR car in IMSA. But brother Nestor, yet another victory on the world stage. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Go celebrations then amongst the team. Lot of back patting, and so it should be for Bebo Girolamo. It was one of those races for Bebo where it's not exciting, it's not dramatic, apart from the pass around the outside, of course, on lap 1. But that's exactly what you want as a driver. You want to keep it nice and neat, nice and smooth, and score the big results. That's what championships make. Celebrations all around. Vamos! Between Esteban Guerrieri and the forefront of your picture, teammate Nacho Montenegro just walking back to the car. Esteban, very, very strong performance for him to be second position. I think coming into the weekend he'd have taken that one very nicely indeed. Closes the gap to Jan Erlechet as well at the top of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour standings. So there we go then, race 2 confirmation once again, provisional of course until the stewards have done their investigations and the technical teams have done their bits and bobs, but you can confirm then it is Nestor Girolamo, Esteban Guerrieri and Nacho Montenegro. Right then, I'm hearing in my ears that maybe our race winner's ready to have a little chat with our very own Alex Legui. So let's head down to Parc Fermé and find out what he has to say.
Taking his second win of the season, and what a place to do it here at the Bend. Congratulations, Bebo. That was a very aggressive, feisty start, back to your true form, and it feels like a bit of a statement for Hyundai.
Yeah, first of all, I want to congratulate all the team, but the start I knew that was the key part, because after the first lap, there are not so many places for overtaking. The DK was huge, but we managed to make a move from the outside in T1, and this gives us the possibility to drive in free air. And from the moment you are in free air, it's much more easier, but still the car was brilliant. I have no word for the mechanics. After the containers delay, they have worked flat out all the night. They sleep really few hours every day, and we managed to secure 2 races here in Australia. It's a huge result for BRC, for Hyundai, so thank you very much, guys.
It really is. It feels like the statement that Hyundai needed as you head into the second half of the season. And, you know, with tracks like at South Korea and China and Macau, how do you feel like it is for Hyundai?
I mean, feeling is very good. We recovered a little bit from a very tough start of the season for us in Mexico back then. And now we are recovering point, still very far away from the really fight for the championship. We need to have good results also in Korea. It's very important for us. I'm very looking forward to racing Inche. Will be our home race, so can't wait to stay there with all the fans. And for me also, it's very important to keep this phenomenal pace during the last 3 events to try to arrive in Macau with possibilities to fight. This is the main goal this year.
Yeah, mega job. Well done to you and the team.
Well done indeed, Bebo Girolamo. Fantastic performance. Gabriele Tarquini, Gabriele Rizzo there as well. Offer their congratulations. You know you've had a good day in the office when Gabriele Tarquini says well done. That must probably mean more than any trophy. Gabriele Tarquini, my favourite touring car driver, of course, a bit of a hero, was growing up. Been there, done that, won absolutely everything. Still the oldest FIA world champion as well, is Tarquini, now on team management duties. Right then, what has this done to the driver's standings, I hear you ask? Jan Erlechet is still our championship leader, 36 ahead of Esteban Guerrieri. Ted Bjork stays in 3rd position, but now he's 53 points away from his Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing teammate. Santiago Urrutia, 4th position for him, but it's looking increasingly difficult for the Uruguayan driver. Right then, let's have a look at some of the highlights from the race that you've just enjoyed. Race 2 got underway with the rallying comps on pole position, and it looked like an initial launch from the line would be enough for the French driver. Not so, says Nestor Girolamo. First on the defensive from a fast-starting Esteban Guerrieri, it would be the outside line that would be the position of choice for car number 129. Around the outside goes Girolamo to take an early race lead that would be, quite frankly, untouchable all the way through the race. Josh Buchan was very much in the heart of battle. A little bit of contact there, progressed his race very nicely indeed. Mikkel Afkona and Marcin Klar come together. Afkona catching the curb, no harm, no foul on that occasion. Fastest driver on the track though, just good enough for the top 10 as Bebu Girolamo crosses the line and takes the win. Goat Racing in second and third position. Fantastic results for their championship charge, but it's all eyes on that man, Bebu Girolamo, who was absolutely dominant here in Southern Australia to take the win for the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team.
TCR Kumho FIA World Tour. How are you guys? Are you good? Good. Welcome to our podium. Please put your hands together. In third position from Goat Racing, it's Ignacio Montenegro. In second position, yet again from Goat Racing, it's Esteban Guerrieri. Winner from BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa, it's Bebu Nestor Girolamo. And the team representative is Marco Rampardo. And now for the national anthem for our winning driver. Let's have some trophies. Frank Lee. Hold that thought, folks. Yes. Okay, please put your hands together for our best Aussie driver, Josh Buchan. That was unexpected. Sorry, Josh. All right, so now should we present some trophies? Please welcome Frank Lee, the Vice President of Zika International and the Managing Director of Zika Australia, who will present the third position trophy to Goat Racing's Nacho Montenegro. Frank Lee will also present our second position trophy to Goat Racing's Esteban Guerrieri. And now the winning trophy to BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa's Bebu Girolamo. Fernando. And the winning national driver, Josh Buckin. Congratulations, boys. Please come together for your official photograph. Congratulations, thank you so much. Out of respect for Shane Mann, who passed yesterday, we will not be having champagne on our podium. Huge condolences to everybody involved. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've had a great time. We have absolutely loved being here. The Kumho FIA TCR World Tour will hopefully be back again next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much then, Alex Le Gouy doing the podium ceremony there. Our drivers up on the podium as well. And as mentioned by Alex, from all of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour family, we want to pass our love and best wishes on to the family of Shane Mann, the 50-year-old Australian driver who sadly passed away in the paddock yesterday. So our thoughts go to Shane and all of his family at this very, very difficult time. So there are our driver standings then at the end of a very entertaining weekend here in Australia. If you enjoyed that one, why don't we do it all again on the weekend of the 17th and the 18th of October as the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour is back. We go to the Indy Speedium in Korea. Make sure you catch all of that action, of course, on the TCR TV YouTube channel. But for myself, Paul Jeffrey, and the whole team at the World Tour, thank you for watching. And until next time, take care and goodbye.